Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. You saw Biden's speech about the vaccine. Jimmy Kimmel said, of course, a lot of people are upset about this. They don't want to be told what to do, not even by the doctors who they will eventually rush to beg for help when they get sick. Corden, this really does feel like when your dad stops threatening and actually does turn the car around. Kimmel, you know, there's a reason pandemic movies end when the hero finds the cure for the disease. There's no Contagion sequel with Matt Damon running around trying to convince everyone to take the vaccine. They just take the vaccine, and thank God, by the way, he sucks. We don't need more movies with him. Colbert, vaccine mandates have a proud history in this country. During a smallpox outbreak in 1777, George Washington required his troops to be immunized, and who can forget the immortal words of Paul Revere, one if by JJ, two if by Pfizer, the variants are coming, the variants are coming. That's a bad joke. Kimmel, but still, I don't know, like a quarter of the country thinks herd immunity means they should be taking livestock medicine instead of the vaccination. Good joke. Corden, Biden said it's time to stop horsing around, and then he was like, no, seriously, stop taking horse medicine. Howard Stern even made my wife's radar. She was like, did you see Howard Stern talking about the vaccines? I did, honey. On his radio show, Howard Stern said, I want my freedom to live. I want to get out of the house. I want to go next door and play chess. I want to go take some pictures. According to the Washington Post, Stern talked about unvaccinated people who are clogging up overwhelmed hospitals, calling them imbeciles and nut jobs, and suggesting that doctors and nurses not treat those who have not taken a coronavirus vaccine. Howard said, I'm really of mind to say, look, if you didn't get vaccinated and you got COVID and you don't get into a hospital, you had the cure and you wouldn't take it. The Washington Post continues saying, after noting that Anthony Fauci warned that some hospitals might be forced to make tough choices, Jimmy Kimmel said, that choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yeah, come right in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy. On his radio program, Howard Stern talked about 4 conservative talk radio hosts who bashed the vaccine and finally died of the virus. Stern said, 4 of them were ranting on the air. They will not get vaccinated. They were on fire. They were all dying, and their dying words were, I wish I had been more into the vaccine. I wish I had taken it. Howard said, when are we going to stop putting up with the idiots in this country and just say it's mandatory to get vaccinated? Ted Cruz got into it with Patton Oswalt, and suddenly I'm wondering, what happened to the comedy podcast? Last week it was a John Mulaney gossip podcast looking into this, and today we're debating vaccines. Ted Cruz found himself on the receiving end of a Twitter roast when Cruz tried to poke fun at Patton Oswalt's decision to cancel a series of shows. You may recall I told you Patton Oswalt canceled some gigs in Florida and Salt Lake City after the venues refused to make it a requirement that audience members be vaccinated or provide proof of a negative COVID-19 test. Ted Cruz, don't go at it with Patton Oswalt. Ted Cruz tweeted, both of Patton Oswalt's fans were disappointed. You know, this is not going to go well. Patton Oswalt jumped in. Okay, Ted, here we go. Not as disappointed as Texas was when you cut your Cancun vacation short and came home. Ted, my fans are all at home waiting to see you at the January 6th hearings. Now, on the flip side, Patton Oswalt's canceling shows if you're not vaccinated. Jim Breuer went totally the other way. This from NJ Arts. Comedian Jim Breuer posted a video to social media explaining his decisions to cancel shows over their policies allowing only those who have been vaccinated. Now, I used to work with Jim Breuer every day for about a decade and do a pretty good Breuer impression. Let's see if I can dig it out here. Wilmont Theater, New Jersey. Pfft, not doing it. Also, the Royal Oak Theater in Michigan. Due to the segregation of them forcing people to show up with vaccination proof, you're vaccinated, proof that you've had a shot, I am absolutely not doing those shows. I know I'm going to sacrifice a lot of money. Well, I'm not going to be enslaved by the system or by money, nor should anyone who wants to laugh or be entertained. Jim added, I have to stick to my morals. I have to stick to what I know is right. He mentioned Morristown, although he didn't have any Morristown show on his current schedule. Jim said, Morristown, my home. The fact that now you segregate people, you can call it whatever you want to call it, you're segregating. He said he will perform in backyards if he has to. I'd rather go bankrupt, make a stance, and not segregate. God told me to serve you and make you laugh at a young age, and I've been doing my best, and I'll be damned if I'm going to force people to get a jab to come see me. NJ Arts said, there was lots of other nonsensical ranting in the 22-minute video, including an assertion that a lot of doctors are just licensed drug dealers. NJ Arts has the complete video if you would like to watch it. From The Independent, Ricky Gervais accepted the NTA Award for Best Comedy and said, I do it for the money. The TV ceremony was 2.5 hours long, and Ricky said, "I'll keep it short. It's already interminable. I do this for the money. You're the second reason," speaking to the crowd. Jay Leno's got a new TV show today. This from the LA Times. They write, "There are not many questions Jay Leno can't answer with a joke. Are there any health protocols when Jay Leno plays a comedy club?" Jay said, "Wear a condom." Is Jay Leno vaccinated? Jay Leno said, "I got the Pfizer with Moderna drizzle on it and chocolate almond biscotti. That's how they do it in Beverly Hills." Is there humor to be mined from the coronavirus pandemic? "A lot of mom and pop restaurants went under. Here's how bad it is. I saw a mafia don getting dinner to go at an Olive Garden." Jay is back. He's hosting a new version of You Bet Your Life. On Jay Leno's version of You Bet Your Life, contestants with different social, cultural, and ethnic backgrounds work together in answering questions for cash prizes. Leno said, "We'll pair a rapper from Chicago with an Ohio farmer lady, and they work as a team, and it's quite funny to watch. There's no politics, there's no Trump jokes, there's no Biden jokes. The jokes are about Congress and that generic sort of they're idiots type of thing." The original You Bet Your Life was hosted by Groucho Marx, ran from 1950 to 1961. Today's Daily Comedy News brought to you by my travel podcast. It is called Travel is Back. It's a casual travel podcast. Normally, I tell you about places I've been and what I like to do there. Last week was Vancouver. I've done Philly, Boston, Chicago, Nashville, San Diego. But this week, some fall trip ideas for you. Travel is Back, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, John Mulaney gossip from Us Weekly. Olivia Munn keeps her relationship super private, as she's a private person herself. That's from an insider speaking to Us Weekly. Insider, are you not betraying her confidence by speaking to Us Weekly? The insider said, "The time must have been right for her now, especially if she knew John was the one she'd want to have a baby with." The source says she's been spending a lot of time in New York. She also has her house in California, so she's really been going back and forth. John thinks Olivia is really smart, and she makes him laugh too. She's been sneaking into some of his shows and loves them. Olivia is so smitten. From the creators of Rick and Morty and Community, Dan Harmon's got a new show. This one is called Krapopolis. It stars some pretty good people. Hannah Whittingham, you know her. She's the team owner in Ted Lasso. Richard Ayoade, who's from Travel Man and from the It Crowd. He's wonderful. Matthew Berry, you know I love him. Pam Murphy and Duncan Trussell. The Fox series, which is set in ancient Greece, centers on a flawed family of humans, gods, and monsters that tries to run one of the world's first cities without killing each other. Richard Ayoade voices Tyrannus, the mortal son of a goddess. He's the benevolent king of Krapopolis, trying to make do in a city that lives up to its name. Waddingham plays Deliria, who's Tyrannus' mother, goddess of self-destruction and questionable choices within her extended Olympian family, forged in patricide and infidelity. This is complicated. She's known as the trashy one. Matthew Berry is Schlub, Tyrannus' father, a minotaur who's a half-centaur, horse plus human, half-manticore, lion plus human plus scorpion. He's oversexed and underemployed. He claims to be an artist and has literally never paid for anything. Got some more characters there. This is already too deep in the weeds. From TMZ again, Bill Cosby's representative Andrew Wyatt tells TMZ, Bill Cosby's comedy tour? Yeah, we're not doing that. You know why? Wyatt says Bill Cosby wants to avoid going on tour for the moment because he doesn't want this dark cloud hanging over his head. The dark cloud is a civil suit by Judy Huth. Huth sued Cosby way back in 2014 for sexual assault, and now a trial date's been set for spring 2022. Not a good time to be on a comedy tour. TMZ adds performing on stage could also be risky for Bill Cosby because Huth's lawyers might potentially try to use his own words against him in the case. TMZ asked Cosby's rep Andrew Wyatt if that was a concern, but Andrew Wyatt says Cosby's team is most worried about unfair treatment in the media. And that is your comedy news for today. Follow this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Instagram at Daily Comedy News. If you enjoy what I do, buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. You can throw $5 in the tip jar. I'll take your money. I'll go to the donuts chain. Might get a pumpkin with ice. We'll see. See you tomorrow.